The prevailing power of God. God's power is prevailing. Now, when I say that sometimes we have a victory that we don't know that we have yet. We possess a victory that we don't know is ours yet, because we have not associated the two. We have not associated the two. We have not associated God with the God that is in me. We think about God as God, and God thinks about God as God. God thinks about God is that I have already made a passageway where I'm not just sitting on the throne anymore. I'm sitting in you. Oh, I can't get nobody to say, I'm not just sitting on the throne. I'm big enough. I'm wide enough. I'm broad enough. I'm massive enough that wherever I choose to be as God, I cannot move from the heavenly throne and yet sit in authority in you. As long as you recognize me as being God, you can get what heaven is getting right now. I'm not hearing nobody talk back to me. God, I feel the Holy Ghost on this revival. Listen, when I tell you that we're going to see untold miracles in this revival, in this 48 hours, because what I'm trying to help you to understand is that God is saying everything that is going on in heaven right now that has no limitations, that has no boundaries, that's the God that is sitting in you right now. He has no, sit down. He has no limitations. There is no, and I gotta do some programming. There is no limitations in me. 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 There's none. I am not limited in anything that I go to do, touch, say, and operate in. There is no limitations in me. I can have anything I say. I can do anything that my heart desires. He will give me the desires of my heart. There is no limitations in me. I am not bound up. I am not hindered up. There is no restraints in me at all. There is no limitations. 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 No limitations. No limitations in me. In me. In me. In me. There is no limitations. There is no limitations. I am powerful. There is no limitations. I am anointed. There is no limitations. There is no limitations. The devils in hell are scared of me. There is no limitations. There is no limitation. There is no limitation in me. Now sit down. How many people got that? Nothing. Let me make this clear. While you are in this building right now, while the call of God have called you to this presence right now, He is immunizing you to the point that there is no limitations. Woo. You know, we We get it mixed up. Let me just read something to you. Let me read something to you. We've been talking about focus on God, one focus, and I begin to read and look at some things about one focus, and I got to a part. God is getting ready to wipe this place to pieces. I'm just trying to keep myself calm. Some of y'all going up in a place that you ain't never coming back. I think some of y'all just saying, well, you know what, I'm just looking for God to just do something for me. He ain't gonna just do something for you. I said the Lord is getting ready to throw you in a place that you ain't never coming back. It's a point of no return. It's almost like when the Lord orchestrates a time and a place for him to switch your spirit over out of doubt and fear. And after this, you're not going to ever doubt the Lord and fear like you used to walk in, because the Lord said it's an emergency, because there's some stuff that you are about to miss because your spirit is in the wrong place. And that's why you're in this building tonight, because God is not getting ready to let you miss what he has for you. That's why he's saying to you, you got to speak to your spirit and tell your spirit no limitations.